Persona 3 Reload came out back in October, falling short of both fan expectations and the capabilities of the Nintendo Switch 2. Pretty much everybody was disappointed in the release, so I didn't bother covering it when it initially came out. But thankfully Atlus heard our cries, and just a few days ago they introduced a 60 FPS performance patch. On docked mode, the game is significantly upgraded over the launch version, but for portable mode, are there any improvements? Is the 30 FPS stuttering issue from launch finally fixed? Before we take a look at the update, let's hear a word from today's sponsor, JSOX. I just applied their Obsidian AR tempered glass screen protector, which was super easy to install with the included cleaning kit and alignment tray. The alignment tray also has a dust layer to make sure nothing gets on your console screen during the application. Till now, I've been using a super cheap Switch 2 case just for the sake of having something, but that's changing with the Rug Shell Ultra shockproof case. It's got space for up to 10 cartridges along with an optional lanyard and these super nice sliding clasps that keep your console inside no matter what. The plastic material is sturdy and thick, so I wouldn't worry about your console getting damaged while it's inside. If you want to grab anything you see here, head down to the video description to buy from my affiliate links, or use code PIE at checkout for 4% off. Thank you to JSOX for sponsoring the video. Let's go over what Atlus changed with this new update. A performance mode was added, giving the game a 60 FPS option. This option only exists for the docked mode, as turning it on in portable mode does nothing. This essentially puts it closely in line with the Xbox Series S version, as that version runs at 1080p but doesn't have the ray tracing features of the bigger consoles. The Switch 2 also runs the game at 1080p, but with some smaller compromises that don't drastically impact the game's visual makeup. Performance mode has much lower quality shadows, which mostly impacts character models along with active sources of light. For example, the light coming in through this window has a softer appearance in the performance mode, while every other platform appears sharper. The shadows in this mode seem to match the PC version's low option. The more obvious difference is the complete lack of ambient occlusion. In many games, this would completely change the game's visual design. However, due to the way the game is lit, AO being turned off doesn't change the way the game looks too much. But how does frame rate hold up? Stable frame delivery is held throughout what I tested, but there's a few spots that can make the frame rate dip. For example, walking through the school can cause the frame rate to dip around 57 FPS, but it's not super intrusive. If you don't know what you're looking for, you won't be able to spot it. What's strange is the game makes no attempts to alleviate these dips. As far as I can see, there's no dynamic resolution at play. It's a straight 1080p throughout the whole game. These small dips could be due to a CPU bottleneck, as they only really occur when there's a lot of students on screen. Running through Tartarus was a stable experience, at least on the lower floors. On PC, performance doesn't really change if you go to a higher floor, so I doubt this will be an issue on Switch 2. The one gripe I have about this update is the fact that portable mode is pretty much snubbed. The improved frame pacing from the 30 FPS docked mode carries over to portable mode, but there's no 60 FPS performance mode or even a 40 FPS mode. I feel like this isn't too big of an ask. The GPU clocks get cut in half when you take the system out of the dock, but seeing as the game still renders at a full 1080p, it's not like they're being strained on system resources. DLSS could easily be used to allow for high image quality while rendering at a lower resolution like 720p. Portable mode is still satisfactory, and with the 30 FPS cap being fixed, it's not a bad way to play the game, but I would still love to have some sort of higher frame rate option. But how does this new update compare to something like Steam Deck? It's quite interesting. Steam Deck has the advantage of customizable settings, which can allow for basically any experience you want. At 720p with all graphical features turned up minus RT, we're able to get a locked 60 FPS. And while the Switch 2 and Steam Deck are very different machines, many titles like Cyberpunk have them performing somewhat similarly. Using Steam Deck as a very rough equivalent for Switch 2, it's clear that 60 FPS is very possible so long as you lower the resolution. At 1080p, the Steam Deck seems to struggle. The frame rate hovers around 45 FPS here in the classroom. With low shadows, the frame rate increases to about 51. And with the Switch 2 hitting 60 FPS with those same low shadows, it's hard to imagine a reason as to why portable mode can't have 60 FPS other than potentially time constraints. Back in October, it was all but confirmed that this port was rushed to try and come out the same year as the console. They were initially shooting for a New Year's release, but they were able to push it up all the way to October. While it ultimately wasn't the worst version of the game to play at launch, it was still a disappointing port, which made me and a lot of others skip it entirely for more performant versions of the game. The director for the Persona series, Kazuhisa Wada, also mentioned that one of their goals was to make sure the graphical experience between portable and docked play was the same across one another, and while that's an admirable thing to strive for, it calls into question the short development time once again. If they had given themselves more time, wouldn't they have integrated DLSS to allow for better performance? Without being a fly in the wall during development, it's hard to say. I do hope they eventually give portable mode some sort of high frame rate mode, but I wouldn't hold out hope for that. The last major thing I believe needs to be addressed is the GUI. The game runs at a straight 1080p in docked mode, meaning that the HUD is also being rendered at 1080p instead of 4K. Seeing as Reload often uses 2D assets to sell the story to the player, it's a bit strange they didn't go with a 4K output resolution. Persona 5 Royal on Switch does this, as the game renders at 810p, but then fully outputs a 1080p image. So it's not as if they have no history of using this technique. Again, this quirk doesn't make the game unplayable or anything, but it would have been a nice addition to an already good docked experience. So with all these changes and fixes, is the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Persona 3 Reload worth playing? I would say without a doubt, yes. While there are better versions of the game, the new performance mode along with the 30 FPS cap being fixed, Nintendo's second hybrid system is finally getting the attention and respect it deserves. The game is currently on sale and the game keycard version can be had for about $40 at most retailers, so the price is a lot fairer than when it was at launch. Before I go, let's do some comparison shots between the old 30 FPS version and the new updated 60 FPS version, along with some extended gameplay.
From now on, you shall be welcome here as a guest in the Velvet Room. You were destined to hone your unique ability, and you will require my assistance to do so. I only ask one thing in return. Abide by your contract, and assume full responsibility for the choices you make.
Even if we're able to head upstairs, we should try to take out as many enemies. The best bet would be... I'll do Now let's finish him off! Don't pull any punches! Reality, never be charity. The enemy you fight, cover source society. Mom's not here, gotta fight. Shout out to the cloud direction.
You won! Now let's move on. Whew. Alright, let's get moving. Alright.
Nice work.
Persona! Now it's down! Not
All you!
I'll go with. This is it.
Alright, the enemy's down! This is our chance! You're on a roll!
Better grip those kids!
I got hit. Let's see! How can I finish the enemy?
Go with.
Alright, the enemy's down!
Never mind.
Nicely done! Enemy eliminated!
Go, Polygoon! Can't focus! We cannot pass this up!
You've been poisoned. Do you have a cure? In this situation, I won't lose.
I'll go with.
Nice one, leader!
Let's do it.
The best bet would be... I've got you!
do you feel about this new update to Persona 3 Reload? Are the performance improvements worth picking this version of the game up? Let me know how you feel in the comments below. If you want to support content just like this, I have a Patreon, which will be linked in the description, and I also have YouTube memberships open where you can get early access to my videos, along with an exclusive channel in my Discord. But that about does it for me, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.